criticized the federal government's fertilizer intervention projects as the grassroots.
I had to commit close to R1 billion procuring fertilizer when the one arranged through the agents you put together failed woefully. My suggestion, if we are here to stimulate serious interest in this, there must be a credit facility, interest-free, for farmers. There must be a guaranteed minimum price for produce. With that, interest will be stimulated in agricultural production and wealth will be created. Otherwise, we will be joking and deceiving ourselves.
It is not my job to make sure that 100% of the farmers in every state get fertilizers. States can do what they can do to support their farmers. But that information that nobody got it in Osun State is actually not correct.
The forum also called for provision of infrastructure to address inefficiencies in production, processing and logistics to achieve 6.5% annual growth in agriculture GDP in the next 10 years.
As we continue to invest in these rural areas, we're actually beginning to see what we call poverty alleviation. But what we see is that we're creating better business people out of our community.
The Minister of Water Resources, Mrs. Sarah Ochekwe, however, admitted that the over-dependence on oil proceeds has been largely responsible for the low attention to irrigation infrastructure, crucial for growth in the sector. It is clear that state governments have made significant strides in agriculture, but what seems unclear is how much additional investments Nigerians would now see in the sector that would stimulate agri-business in the country. Gloria Umezuke, Channels Television News.
Well, some other state governors have also been speaking about making agriculture a priority. While the Kogi State Governor Idris Wada says his state has invested in hectares of land for various cassava plantations, Governor Peter Obi explained that a lot of progress has been made in Anambra State.
We moved our planning and budgeting from being supply-driven to demand-driven. I cannot put anything in the budget or plan for anything if we don't go to the people. Never. It's not happening in Anambra State. Anything we do today, we sit down with the people and they say, this is what we want. So for the women, like I said before, for us agriculture was a means of fighting poverty, extreme poverty. And today I can say, like she's mentioned, we brought in women from the village and everything. We brought them all men, not just women, because women, I think, it's taking too much of our time even. they're not organized trade union because they think that everything must be, they've taken almost 60%. And I'm thinking of creating Ministry of Women Affairs. But what we are doing is that we organize them and ensure that these women are organized in groups, in unions and everything, and we give them access. Because when we talk about it, we give them access, ensure that they get access to credit and also access to the market.
After clearing land and providing all the inputs to our farmers, we guaranteed them that whatever they produce, we will buy back from them. But they had the option of selling it in the market or selling it to the government. And about 2 months ago, when we had our first harvest, because of all the inputs we gave, 60% of the produce will be given back to government to sell and plow back that money back into the continued expansion of agriculture. 40% goes to the farmer who we have given the portion of land and all the inputs to grow. And for those who sold their products back to the government, we paid them. So we're able to give out checks. And this has encouraged a lot of the young people to see that, look, after planting rice in 3 months, I'm going to get a check of 100,000, 150,000 for my efforts. This is attractive, and many of them are coming back to ask for land for the next cropping session. The other thing I want to talk about, for Kogi, we've made access to land very easy. And we have a lot of inquiries of people coming in. We have a one-stop shop that follows all the processes of land acquisition and any challenges that an investor may face.
All right, let's shift focus from the summit now to take a look at politics. And if Mr. Andy Obah believed he would clinch the People's Democratic Party's ticket in Anambra State based on the leverage he got from a court injunction, well, that hope may just have been dashed. The Federal High Court sitting in Port Harcourt today vacated the order recognizing Mr. Ejike Ogwebego as Anambra PDP chairman. The court also vacated the order recognizing Mr. Obah as the governorship candidate. This decision clears Mr. Tony Nwoye to campaign as the authentic candidate of the party in the November the 16th governorship election. Two factions of the party had held parallel primaries on August the 24th, with Mr. Ogwebego's faction producing Andy Obah as governorship candidate. Thereafter, Mr. Obah and his brother Chris were suspended by the party's leadership for failing to appear before a committee set up to investigate the controversy. Well, despite ongoing attempts to resolve the crisis rocking the People's Democratic Party, its national chairman, Mr. Babanga Tokoro, says the PDP would deal decisively with the members parading themselves as factional executives of the party. Mr. Tokoro told journalists in Abuja that the National Working Committee, which is headed by him, is the only recognized leadership of the party. He went on to say that the party will not ignore attempts being made to destroy it, warning that legal action will be taken against the dissenting members and all those who identify with them.
The PDP has only one duly elected National Executive Committee under my chairmanship. I wish, therefore, to state with all emphasis that any group of persons parading themselves as leaders of NEC or any other organ of our great party are imposters. And I urge all Nigerians, especially the security agencies and other institutions of democracy, to regard them as such. We shall ensure that any person who is not duly elected into any leadership position in our great party and has not been duly assigned any role, but goes ahead to arrogate such to himself, will be made to face the full wrath of the law. Similarly, all persons on the platform of our great party at all levels who identify with these enemies of the oneness of our greatness of our party shall have their seat declared vacant as required by law.
PDP National Chairman Mr. Babanga Tokoro. We're going to stay with politics, and despite being declared winner in the Offa rerun election in Kwara State, Mr. Afolabi Olawole, a councillorship candidate of the PDP in Shawo Southwest Ward, has disowned his victory. Mr. Olawole pitched his tent with the opposition today at a press conference held in Offa, where they rejected the results announced by the Kwara State Independent Electoral Commission. The chairmanship candidate of the All Progressives Congress at the election also says the party will not accept the umpire's decision and will contest the results.
I know PDP lost convincingly in all the 8 polling units in Southwest in that election. Why APC won visibly and convincingly in all the 8 wards in Southwest. 8 polling units in Southwest in the general election held on 31st of August 2013.
The electoral subversion by Kwasek, to say the least, is reprehensible and shocking. In a democracy, the people are guaranteed the right to vote and to be voted for. This requires that the election must be free and fair, and every vote must count. Election is not selection. It is not coronation. It is not the monarchical right of an individual to throne, and it is not an oligarchy where people who impose a ruler on the people.
In part 2, after the break, stowaway teenager on a Lagos-bound aircraft from Benin Airport returns home to Edo State, delivered to Government House by State Security Service. That's in a moment. Please stay with us.